25 roster, 6 foot 5 inches, 330 pounds. Offensive lineman transfer from Illinois, Kevin Wigenton II. We hear all about his experiences so far, both on and off the field. We'll find out what led to his decision to transfer and what he's looking forward to as being part of the UVA football program. All of that and more on the Cavalier Connection. Welcome in to another edition of the Cavalier Connection. I'm your host tonight, Jeff, joined by Jay. I don't have my baseball hat, but we didn't reach out. I guess these shirts are now the Cavalier Connection shirt because we both came on with the exact same shirt. This is rough.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you, family, for the Christmas present.
If we're out at the fantasy football draft right now, we're getting made fun of. But we're here at talking about the Cavalier Connection and talking about UVA football. And Coach Elliott's been red hot in the portal here. And tonight we're going to get the great opportunity to talk to one of the newest offensive linemen, one of the areas we knew we really needed to get some upgrade/depth at, and it's a big boy coming from Illinois, Kevin Wigenton II. So looking forward to that interview. But before we get to that, you know how we like to start things, talk about our friends over at Menser. So, hey, it's January the 7th when we're recording. You're listening on January the 8th. You got to kick off your new year in style with Mensers, your go-to destination for University of Virginia imprinted sportswear since what year, Jay?
1948.
1948. As a family-owned business, Mensers offers a wide range of UVA apparel and accessories to keep you warm and spirited this January. From cozy hooded sweatshirts to performance tees, they've got you covered for all your winter needs. Visit them at 2 convenient Charlottesville locations, the University Corner on the University Corner and in the shops at Stonefield. Or if you prefer to shop online, explore their extensive collection at mensers.com, where in-stock items ship the next day. Start 2025 with the best in UVA gear from Mensers, where tradition meets quality. And real quick on that one, Jack is on the morning radio show locally, and they've made fun of him this year about the beanie situation, and now he's got the UVA beanie from Mensers. So check him out.
I didn't know. I didn't know if it was new or what, but I saw Virginia beanie in the show.
Christmas came to town early, so we thank our sponsors over there at Mensers. All right, so what a treat we have for you folks tonight, as we have the 14th member of the Virginia transfer portal class, offensive lineman, previously of Michigan State and most recently Illinois, Kevin Wigenton II. How are you doing tonight, Kevin?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys for having me.
That's great. Thanks so much for joining us. So could you tell us a little bit about, I know you've played in the Big Ten. Do you think there'll be any differences in styles or talent moving over to the ACC?
I really don't think so. I think, Power 4 football is Power 4 football. Everyone's going to run the ball inside zone, outside zone. They're going to pass the ball down the field. It's all about execution. So I think, my experience will carry over well, and, I think I have a chance to succeed.
That's awesome. I know I've read, I think you played a little center at Illinois and maybe guard at Michigan State. Is there where you might feel most comfortable at? And did the UVA staff express where they might see you as a best fit?
Yeah, definitely a guard.
Okay.
I've played guard all my, collegiate career. Center's kind of just been a thing of emergency in case anyone goes down. So it's just a trade, I guess you could call it, that I've just learned, and helps you pick up the offense, help you understand what everyone's doing. And, once you play center and then you don't, you realize how easy every other position is now that you don't have to.
We had an emergency situation at center this year, so it's good to know you got some experience if we're in that spot again.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
So, Kevin, before I get into the football questions, I got to ask, because I am also a second. So I'm named after my great-grandfather, which confuses people. When I say I'm the second, a lot of times they're like, so you're named after your dad? Yep. I'm like, no, that's Junior. I'm a second. So who are you named after? And do you ever get that confusion as well?
Yeah, so I'm named after my dad.
Okay.
My dad chose to do the second because he didn't want to be a senior. Didn't want to be preferred.
I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, but no, people have been calling me Junior sometimes, and but yeah, no, I think it's cool being the second. I think it looks cool on the jersey. So we're pride for sure.
Yeah, what gets me is like when I'm entering stuff online and they want your last name, I'm like, okay, well, do I just put my last name or do I have to put the second if it doesn't have the suffix column?
Yeah, exactly. I'm always looking for the suffix. Yeah, exactly.
But getting to the football. So tell us, when did you decide to enter the portal, and what was the differences kind of between the first time you entered the portal and then the second time?
Yeah, I would say I decided to enter the portal probably a day or two before it actually opened. The season concluded, and met with my family, met with people I value their opinion, and I thought it would be smart to get in the portal. And I graduated from Illinois. I actually graduated about 3 weeks ago, so that's something. I'll always be an Illinois grad. But the difference is, I would say, I think I knew what I was looking for a lot better. I was able to sort through the fluff, and a lot of schools tell you a lot of things, and me and my family decided, these are the few things we're looking for, and if this school doesn't really have that, we're kind of going to just put them on the back burner, I guess. You respect every school, and you value what they have to say. But I think it's a privilege to speak to every school. You get a chance to learn more about the game, learn more about how people view you as a player, the ways they think they could take your game to the next level, the pros and cons of the tape you've put out there. And so it's really been a blessing to have as many schools that have reached out to me the first time I was in the portal and the second time, because I know a great deal of kids who go into the portal and that's where their careers end. They don't get picked up. They don't even get to finish college. So it's a crazy business we're in now. It's not what it was when I committed in 2021. There was no NIL. There was no transfer portal. People were still sitting when you transferred. So yeah, it's just crazy time.
Yeah. Well, first, congratulations on your graduation from Illinois. That's a big accomplishment.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's huge. So once you entered, how long was it before UVA kind of reached out to you, and who was your kind of lead recruiter here?
Yeah, so Coach Heff was my lead recruiter. I want to say he reached out. I can't remember the day, but about a week after I got in the portal. But UVA is different than a lot of schools. The first order of business was getting my transcripts and making sure I qualify. And I'm glad they do it that way, because it doesn't make sense going through the whole process if you don't qualify. But once he reached out, I let it be known to him how much interest I would have in Virginia. I have a lot of family in Richmond, the DMV area. And I'm only about 6 hours from home. I'm coming from 2 schools where I was about 12 hours away. So just the chance to be closer to home, chance to earn a degree like none other, and then be surrounded by family too. So it makes it hard to turn down.
It's interesting that you brought up the transcript thing, because that's kind of a talking point on, if you go on like the fan websites that the message boards and things like that. A lot of people are kind of hard on the administration at Virginia, not even necessarily the athletic administration, just the president down, for how tough it is to transfer into Virginia. So kudos to you for meeting that first, that first hurdle.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I had some friends who tried to tell me they had to lower the GPA to get me in, but I was glad I got in.
Hey, whatever it takes.
Can you talk to us about your visit to Virginia and how it compared to other visits that you may have gone on?
Yeah, I went there on last Saturday morning, and it was just a 1-day visit. I came home Sunday night, and the first thing that stood out was just the facility, brand new. I've been to a lot of places, you name it, UCLA, USC, Michigan State, Illinois. I could go Rutgers, and I thought it was the best facility I've been in. It's clear the commitment that comes from the president down, even though they're trying to rip them in the message boards, but they made a huge commitment to football. I previously had known of Coach Elliott. Just growing up, Clemson was just so good for so long, and
right.
I remember, just hearing about him and how, he stayed there for so long, had a bunch of head coaching opportunities, but decided to, see it through. And then once I got on the visit and got to spend time with him, I felt his vision, what he wants out of players and what he expects kind of fits right in with who I am and everything I stand for. And, so, it was a great match. And, they were looking for a player at my position, and I was looking for a school of their caliber. So it worked out perfectly.
That's great. Do you have a favorite NFL lineman that you like to watch or study?
Yeah, I'll say Quentin Nelson. He's a New Jersey guy. He went to school about 15 minutes from me.
Okay.
I actually have gotten the chance to speak with him some, and just the way he plays the game. He plays the game the right way. It's not there's a reason why he's an all-pro guy and a Pro Bowler year in, year out. Love the physicality, love how hard he plays. And, I remember going back to Notre Dame, he was dominant there too. So he's carried that right into the NFL.
For sure. So without giving up too much information, how was the subject of NIL kind of handled at UVA? And then how does that kind of compare to like some of the other schools that you have been recruited by?
Yeah, I would say this year for me in the portal, it was different because of this whole the thing with House and the settlement. And NIL is kind of changing and going away in a sense, and schools are able to technically pay players directly. But luckily I had an agent and someone that helped me in the process. So I really stayed out of those conversations. But this is my last year of eligibility, so NIL wasn't really on the forefront. I knew I was going to a place to get a master's. I wanted it to be a place that had a high academic ranking, and this is something that's going to carry with me for the next 40 years. So, I'm not gonna take some money just to go to a different school when I have a chance to get a degree. There's students across the world who would give up anything to go to a school like this. So, I definitely realized that.
Yeah, for sure. Jeff and I, we were huge UVA fans, but neither one of us could have gotten in. So we both attended Old Dominion University.
Okay,
but
yeah, down the road.
Lifelong fans, of UVA. Season tickets. They didn't have football at ODU when we were there. Of course, they do now. So we traveled to Charlottesville. We traveled to most of the ACC schools following the team.
Yeah, Monarchs.
Oh yeah,
Monarchs.
But So when you were there on Saturday, did you have like your family with you, or was it just you?
Yeah, it was me, my mom, and my dad. All three of
So
us went.
I gotta ask because everybody we talk to, we get the same answer. What was your mother's opinion of Coach Elliott?
Oh, she loved him. She just thought he was a great guy. My
Yeah.
dad did too. I'm guessing you hear that from a lot of people.
Oh my gosh.
Everybody.
Everybody's like, well, even if they were not like, they might have said, yeah, I liked UVA, but my mom told me I had to go there because of Coach Elliott.
That's funny. I could definitely see that.
Everybody that seems to love him. Did you play any like pickleball or ping pong or anything?
No, I didn't. It was different. When I got here, there was just a tremendous amount of hospitality. I walked in the door and a lot of the coaches were standing there ready to greet me, and the last coach standing there was Coach Elliott. And a lot of head coaches you meet, they scream that head coach energy where it's that kind of, do you know who I am kind of vibe. And he just was a down to earth guy. He made a very easy decision. And parents, not just me, but every parent wants to know when they send their kid to school to play for a coach that the coach is gonna care for them, treat them as if they were their own son or daughter in that case too.
Yeah, for sure. So with Illinois, were you in the bowl game with those guys, or did you enter before?
I entered the portal before. Portal opened like December 7th or something.
Okay.
So I entered before, came home, started training, and then I went back to Illinois for my graduation. And then, it was just communicating with schools, trying to find the best fit.
So I'm assuming you watched it was their bowl game where the coach had the controversy. Were they playing South Carolina?
Yep. Yeah, that was.
What were your thoughts on the coaches kind of going at each other?
I thought it was hilarious. Every game this year, of course, I was there prior to that. So it was a great game too. So just getting to watch it, I was like, this is so cool. People just get to watch games like this week in, week out. It was crazy, but I enjoyed watching it for sure.
Yeah. So getting back to your game, what do you consider your biggest strength as an O lineman?
Yeah, I would say run blocking, moving a guy against his will, taking a guy from point A to point B. And then, I would say just the type of guy I am and to my teammates, a leader and the guy I am in the locker room. And, I've been in college a few years now, so I like to think the young guys in the locker room, they could, ask me questions about not just football, academics, being away from home, all those things. I've learned so much from, every player I've come across. And, it's crazy seeing the relationships. I posted my picture, me committing to Virginia, and just the amount of players I've played with and teammates just that reached out and said, congratulations. You forget when you're playing how the relationships you're building, how long they're going to last, and they're much bigger than football.
Yep,
it's
for sure.
Funny talk about relationships. I know we've had quite the portal class that's been brought in. Have you had an opportunity to speak to any of the new guys coming in the portal or any of the guys that are already at Virginia?
Yes, I talked to Chandler Morris, the quarterback, and the lineman the guy who committed the day before I did. We just spoke for a second.
Yeah, from JMU.
Yeah. So we all, I know we're getting ready to start school back up, so I'm sure I'm going to meet everybody, real soon here. I'm excited to, meet everybody.
So yesterday we ran a poll on X asking the fans what they were most excited about: the offensive line commits, the defensive line commits, QB commits, or the others. And overwhelmingly, the O-line won that poll with near 50% of the vote. So to say folks are glad to see some fresh blood on the O-line is an understatement. But how exciting is it to know that the fans are actually more excited about the O-line than the quarterback?
That's pretty cool. I'm going to have to rub that in Chandler's face.
That's right.
That's cool. And, it always starts up front. And, O-line has a big responsibility, only position that doesn't rely on anybody else. So I'm glad the fans understand that.
Yeah, Coach Elliott
we took a
preaches the
beating on
trenches.
the line this year between injuries, and guys having to play out of position a little bit, and then just Coach Elliott referred to it as playable depth. We just didn't have a lot of it, and so we gave up 9 sacks or more in multiple games. So like the fan base is just like frothing at the mouth for some O-line, guys to come in and really play well, and we're just so excited to have you with your experience, and man, I know it's going to be a great year coming up.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, it's an exciting time. A lot of. I know someone said this is the most portal commits Virginia's ever had. So it should be exciting. This whole portal group, it changes.
I say it's been fun for us because we are every day. I'm looking to see what's about to pop out here. So, as a fan, we love it. So we desperately want to beat Virginia Tech, and we've had very little success in recent years. In your past rivalry games, what do you think makes teams get over the hump against a rival?
Yeah, it's actually funny you asked that. I was thinking about that today, and about how Virginia Tech is the new rival of Virginia. I think back to when I was at Michigan State. Michigan was our rival, and then Illinois. Purdue and Northwestern were the main two, and we were fortunate enough to beat both of them this year and win both trophy games. I'm not sure if there's a trophy between Virginia and Virginia Tech.
There is.
We've talked a lot about at both places how to win those games. It's not just about what you do in that week or that season. It's it starts in January. I think. Just you're preparing 365 days, and the work you do over the course of that will take care of the rival.
Yeah. So, last question for you: do you have any message you wanted to deliver to the Wahoo Nation?
Yeah, it's been a pretty fun few days since I committed. Just all the love and the support I've gotten on Twitter. I'm still sorting through all of it. I couldn't be more excited. My family couldn't be more excited. I'm moving in this weekend. I finally got an apartment, but just excited. You guys are getting somebody who's going to work, somebody who's, cares about what he's doing, cares about his job, cares about protecting the person behind him, cares about his teammates, someone who wants to win. I'm not just coming here to, get a degree or whatever you want to call it. I want to win games. I want to play meaningful games in December and even January. So that's the goal, and I know that's Coach Elliott's goal too.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. Yep. So, Kevin, we certainly want to thank you for coming on and spending a few moments with us tonight, and we can't wait to see you in the fall, and we hope you have a great evening.
Yes, thank you guys too. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks so much.
And once again, thanks to Kevin for joining us tonight. We're looking forward to him joining the team this coming season. You put the X poll on, and the O lineman gets the #1 votes. That's got to make Coach Elliott. It's a shame. I don't know if we can get that poll to Coach Elliott, but he would like that. He always talks about the trenches. Yeah. He don't care about them quarterbacks, them flashy guys. He likes that trenches. Every time he came in the media room, the trenches. We got to win in the trenches, and he's accurate. And the assistance that's come to the offensive line, and now you saw Josie's coming back next year too. Did you see that today?
Did see that.
So the problem, one of the big problems last year, the offensive line depth. So we've definitely helped that out a lot here in this transfer portal season. And then I enjoyed listening.
You look at the depth, Jeff, and there's going to be guys that either started and played a ton of snaps last year that don't start. Mm-hmm. And who's to say that's a bad thing with, kind of thing, how things went. But Mikhail Boley's got good competition at left tackle with the JMU transfer. Was it Tyshawn? Was it Jared?
Yeah.
Is that am I right? I don't want to get it wrong, but
Yeah.
JMU transfer. We'll say that. I don't have it in front of me. And then Blake Steen have big time competition here with Kevin potentially. I think the center is going to be pretty much locked down by Brady Wilson, the transfer from UAB. But you got guys that transferred in last year that never got healthy, and Drake Metcalf and Ethan Sipe. So I feel really good about this position group and what they've done in the portal, and the guys. Josie coming back, that's huge.
Yeah, the depth getting that depth is huge. Those injury bugs last year, and then if somebody's just not getting the job done, you can put somebody else in there who's capable.
Right.
And they're not putting Jeff Lowe in at guard.
Right.
Yeah, I thought that was.
And if you listen to two guard, some of these guys that redshirted last year have a lot of potential.
Yeah.
If you read his post on X, he really likes the guys that we didn't play last year because of redshirt reasons. So you can never have too many good offensive linemen.
Yeah.
So that's a great problem for Coach Elliott and Coach Heff to have.
And then that running back room is looking good. So if we can, Wigenton talked about he thought his best attribute was as a run blocker. But if we can get that running game going,
our offense is along with everybody else's offense mostly, but our offense really moves well when we're able to run the ball, opens up the play action. We do a lot of that QB run, but when your halfback's getting a lot of yards, it opens up the QB run even more because they got to play that. Yeah, they got to play that option. Otherwise, they're getting gashed.
Yep. And anymore in college football, and it's the same in the NFL anymore. You got to be able to do that, run with the quarterback and the running back, and have a quarterback who can throw the ball accurately. I mean, the position and the way the game is played has changed so much from our early years. You look at old video footage from when we were teenagers and how the game was played compared to now. And when Virginia beat Florida State back with Mike Groh and company, and I thought Mike Groh was did an outstanding job at quarterback at Virginia. But if you look at his numbers and what he was asked to do, when you got a Tiki Barber in the backfield, and then you compare it to what your quarterbacks are doing now,
right?
It's quite the difference.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what this offense is going to be able to do. Jackie put out a way too early depth chart for the offense, and a lot of pressure going to be on Coach Kitchens this year to put points on the board, because I think not only does his job depend on it, but I think Coach Elliott's job depends on it. So we'll see. I think he there will be no excuse that he doesn't have the pieces.
Yeah. No, and last offseason our portal consisted of a lot of wide receivers that came in, and the hype was over the wide receivers to go with Calandria. Of course, I know we got some secondary help and some other help, but building in the trenches here, that's what gets me excited. Because if we can protect that quarterback back there, and then we can run the football, I feel like the offensive weapons are there, on the outside at receiver. But, we just couldn't protect last year. Between that and Calandra holding on to the ball too long, and, the injuries. And some of those sacks are unfair on the offensive line, because if you run out of bounds 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage as the quarterback's another sack. So,
Jeff, we've said this quite a few times, but people might be listening for the first time. There's three things you got to do. You got to have a quarterback, you got to protect your quarterback, and you got to have guys that can go get their quarterback.
Yep.
And we added a guy I'm really excited about from UNLV, Fisher Kamak. I don't know how he pronounces that. CAMAC, I think.
He's a big boy.
6'7", I think 250. But did you see the performance in the bowl game for him and in the Mountain West Championship game? But I think he had a 3-sack performance or something in the bowl game.
He had
Maybe
a good
forced
bowl
fumble
game.
or fumble recovery. I mean, a huge night, and that was against Cal, ACC, Atlantic Coast Conference member Cal. It's still so awkward to say.
So all we did, as I saw somebody posted, we just traded Calandria for him.
Yeah,
and I think we've done an upgrade.
we got an A+ on that trade grade.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up for this evening. Thank everyone for tuning in. We'll be coming back at you again later this week on potentially maybe some live on Thursday evening, talking about this football and the transfer portal and Jay had an interesting tweet this past week he put out regarding what's going to define the 4 things to define the success with the Virginia football team. A lot of great back and forth on X, so definitely want to talk about
basketball to talk about.
Yeah, we got Who's Basketball tomorrow night or tonight as you're listening to this. Hope you can. As a federal government employee, I'm off on Thursday, so catching a break there because we get 11 p.m. basketball tomorrow night in California. And real quick, one mention on this. They want to talk about it. UVA is all about the academics, but then we send our kids across to California to play basketball, but we can't adjust our. Let me just stop right there. Let's not be, as Petty Hawk says, let's not be petty, Jeff. But it's something to think about. But we'll be coming back at you on Thursday evening, and definitely give us a like and a follow on YouTube at the Cavalier Connection Podcast, on X at Talking
the shirt, Mincers.com.
Mincers.com. Yeah.
This shirt, this hat, this is the baseball hat. You can see it's got the 1186.
Hey Jay, baseball top 5 team to start the year looking like. Yeah.
Number 3 in the country preseason. So man, good things coming. Good things happening.
We'll see you guys on Thursday. Have a great evening.